I see that red light on. That means Rangers of the Grid is back with episode 43. And guess what we talking about, y'all? Wow Force.
Well, that's us.
You know what's crazy? Like, before we came on, it was funny. We're talking and we're both like, man, we're the only thing, like in other Ranger content creators, we're the only ones keeping this brand alive.
Yeah, yeah. So probably Ranger fans out there that are like, what? Here's what's going on. I told Richard the other day, I saw this guy post. He that posts all this Ranger stuff on Twitter, and he was like, "Wow, it's really us fans that are keeping this franchise alive right now, and doing at least doing stuff with it, talking about it, making it relevant again."
Yeah, and I feel like we're, like you said, literally the only thing keeping it relevant is the fan base. And it sucks sometimes because, like, the only way sometimes we keep it relevant is by being, I guess, I don't want to say toxic, because being annoyed at, people not doing something with it, like they're just venting frustration.
I don't think that's toxic in a sense.
No, I
I
don't
think
think that's toxic at all.
no, I.
Truth be told, like it's called business,
Hmm.
and I think as fans have a hard time dealing with that sometimes,
Yeah,
because just like anything, we want, and but I'm not the ones putting up the dollars for it, so I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Like I think for me, like my hardest part about it is that I see what Hasbro continues to do with GI Joe, Transformers, all these other ones, and it's kind of like, dude, My Little Pony, you know, and I'm just like, okay, where are these Rangers? And I think too, the other frustrating thing is what you had sent me, what we saw from like that Toy Con thing or whatever at the WWE store with like the crossover with the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Mattel was unveiling what's gonna like come out this year.
Yeah, and it's just like seeing those. It's like, dang, dude, there's so many Ranger things that what an easy crossover, right? Rangers and wrestling.
Easy.
Hey, man, it's not like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston both had gear made of the Green and White Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's an easy crossover, but at the same time, I don't know what those other brands bring.
No,
You know,
100%.
I can tell you this. It makes you wonder: is it because of cost deco? Ranger
Possibly.
suits cost more than to make than possibly GI Joe. GI Joe also has a really long running name.
Yes.
Um, Remember we said it before. Their fan base is like that generation before us.
Hmm.
So they probably, you know, the assumption would be, oh, they probably have the more money to spend on it.
Yeah.
Um, but also, I mean, I don't know that. And what's crazy is we have to make up these things to make it seem okay, because we don't really know.
We don't. It's all just
Um,
assumptions.
yeah, and my main assumption is they must obviously think that they don't generate enough revenue
Hmm.
for it to be continue to be produced. I also low key agree with them in a way of like it's hard to keep producing stuff where there's like nothing.
Yes.
But like the GI Joe thing is weird, right? Because like they don't do a ton of GI Joe animated.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's like I get it's hard to do that when there's no new thing coming out to like, hey, let's fully, bring this up again. Let's be real. The only the latest thing G.I. Joe has done was that little tag at the end of Transformers Rise of the Beast to set up their shared cinematic universe that they're gonna go for now. Cool. And hey, Power Rangers had some posters up in there. It had a poster in there. And that kid had a shirt. Dope. But still, it's like, okay, that's all they've done. Rangers, it's like, dude, we literally just had a 30th anniversary season. But at this point, it's like preaching to the choir, dog.
Yeah, that's how it feels sometimes, huh?
Yeah, a little bit,
But
dude.
I also think about it like this too. Like there's like whole like YouTube channels. A big part of some toy cons is just GI Joe.
Yeah.
Like their fan base is a little different. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And I think in Power Rangers, we try to find a lot of things to be negative about.
Yeah.
I really do. I think we try to find a lot of things to be negative about, and we just, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. We do. We try to go and find the thing to be mad at and bad at.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like we've said before, we almost when there is something thrown to us, we need to really like put our money where our mouth is.
Oh, 100%.
Because if we don't, then what are we talking for? Right?
Hmm.
As in this case, we're talking Wild Force today. And man, looking back through Wild Force, like I've already said on here before, I've always had an affinity for their Zords.
Hmm.
And the reason is because I thought it was so cool to have so many Megazords connect in different ways. Right?
It is. Hmm.
But going back with this season, Marcus, like this season is really a one-man show.
Okay.
What do you think about that statement?
Are you talking about Cole?
Yes. Cole, who is the red Wild Force Ranger.
I I can see how that argument can be made. And especially starting, well, I think eventually early on, I feel like it's kind of him and Taylor, the Yellow
Oh yeah,
Ranger.
we're rehashing Time Force.
What do you mean?
Uh
Oh, I get. Okay. Yeah. 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 I know what you mean now. Okay. I get. Yeah. The female was the one that established everything. I got
yeah,
that now.
yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, and that's what it was. She was kind of that Jen, like, let's try to do Jen again in a sense, where she was the militant one. She set everything together, had the rule book and all that. And then here comes Cole, like, we don't need any rules. There should only be one rule: teamwork. And it's like the constant butting of heads until, like, I think it's after really her, like, kind of focus episode. And then after that, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it's just Cole. So,
Yeah, and I think they were really trying to go for that Wild Force like feel
hmm.
in the beginning. We did, you know, and this is just speaking generally, uh, the Merrick stuff eventually, right? That was obviously a pretty big deal at one
Woo!
point too,
Evil
right?
Ranger story arcs always are.
Always are, right? And he did get a lot of, I guess you'd say, airtime, a
Hmm.
lot of focus. But I feel like early on, it was pretty much a Cole show.
Yeah.
Although this was a fun story of like they really tried to go with what I think they were hoping was considered really different in that he's like this Tarzan kid,
Yeah.
like teen, like he was basically Tarzan, right?
Hmm.
I feel like that's what they really wanted to go for. What do you think?
No, I 100%. Because, wait, when did, just a second, I'm going to look something up real quick. Okay. So the Tarzan movie, the Disney one with, where Phil Collins went the F off on that soundtrack. That came out in 1999. So 99, 2000. Okay, Wild Force was 2002. So probably starting in about 2001. They probably filmed and did all the production stuff. Um, Movies, as you remember, were out a lot longer. They stayed out in theaters way longer back then. So yeah, I could see how like, ooh, we have this wild jungle episode. Let's do this. So I could see that being like a major influence because Power Rangers have always tried to kind of match stuff that was kind of big at the time, and
Hmm.
at least, but not just Power Rangers, but Sentai, obviously. But still, yeah. Um, dude, I remember when we were talking about doing Wild Force and going back and watching some of those first episodes. Man, not a fan. Not a
Really
fan. It's kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie.
interesting.
I
I
remember.
still, and people are gonna be mad at this. From comparatively from what I've watched to RPM to this, I still like Wild Force better than RPM so far.
Hmm.
RPM's tough, dog.
No, I know. RPM's
Like
tough, but it got
it's
that payoff. But I just, I just remember watching this and kind of, or not. I remember watching it and being like, okay, um, cool. I mean, like, okay, it's cool. It just seemed very formulaic. Like, I feel like at this point, Rangers really had to sort of like formula down.
yeah, and I think you can say that with a lot of them. A lot of the
No, hundred
seasons,
percent, 100%.
they're all very similar in their own way. Like I
Hmm.
think the saying you like to say it sometimes, that's so Rangers. It's because that's like like they do the same things
Yeah.
in every season, and it's almost like if you don't have those things, is it a Power Ranger season?
Hmm.
You know what I
I
mean? Like especially like looking at it, and I have to look at these shows, like even like I mentioned in RPM, like I have to look at these shows through the lens of a kid in a
Yes.
way, because and that's hard to do. It's
Yeah.
actually really hard to do sometimes. I'm not Dan Schneider, so I can't just do that offhand. Uh, no Diddy. Um, but yeah,
I was
like,
I was about to say that though. I
but
was about to say
yeah,
that too.
I can't. Sometimes it's hard,
Hmm.
especially like bro, we're in our 30s now, and we watch these shows that, especially some of these we've watched before,
Hmm.
and like it's rare to have them be the same, right?
Yeah.
As when I'm like 11 or 12. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
almost impossible. Unless, truth be told, bro, unless you're like that original Mighty Morphin season or like the Mighty Morphin era, like or I'd say Rangers through like In Space, because In Space was out, blew my mind at the time,
Hmm.
and kind of from there, I felt, I've even said it, like from there, like I still watched some of the seasons after, but I feel like none of them were like In Space level
No,
ever
and I
again.
think, um,
In
but
Space might have
I,
even been above Mighty Morphin.
oh no, honestly, 100% agree with
Yeah,
that.
like story wise.
Like, yes, and I think, and the reason I think that is because one, here we are again though with because Wild Force was a similar situation as In Space. The series was facing cancellation again. Um, and we always know, like, let's be real, historically, when Rangers are facing that, like, okay, I guess this is it, they go off. They take risks, they take chances, and want to do. But I think what happened with Wild Force was, well, especially with In Space, it was easy to kind of wrap things up in a sense of like that Zordon era. And okay, we're going to do this, we're going to go out with a bang. But then after, like you said, that's so Rangers. It got very formulaic in the sense of like because Lost Galaxy was a risk. They weren't
Yeah.
teenagers; they were like young adults. It was they're kind of career center and all that stuff. So it was a different departure. Oh, this worked. So now we can kind of take this formula and put it in a new setting for each time. So, space colony, um, response, like, a first responder type team with light speed rescue, now like a police force from the future, and now with jungle and the animals, and let's still kind of put that same formula in there. So they're doing the same thing over and over again, but I think what for me messed it up, and I know, like you said, you're so right. It's hard for us to watch it back in the eyes of a kid because we're not kids anymore. We're freaking in our mid 30s now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think though, because we're in our mid 30s, we also can see the things that were accomplished with Lost Galaxy. See the greatness of Time Force. Lightspeed Rescue, but with Wild Force, it's kind of like especially when you come off such a great season. It's always, let's be real, there's kind of like you're sort of expecting, you have this sense of expectation of like it's going to be good, or like how are they going to follow that up, and it doesn't always work out. And so I
And,
think seeing how they just take that formula again, and it's just kind of like okay, we're in jungle and we're going to fight these people that want to pollute the earth, and that's kind of it.
and I always think too, I think they liked that whole Time Force, I guess you'll say I'm gonna say Time Force, right? They liked, I think, Time Force so much that I think they almost like made sure that it's gonna be very similar.
Yes, down to the
And
nail.
yeah, and that I think is where this season does mess up.
Hmm.
Um they mess up by doing that. Because that's not what they should have probably done,
Yeah.
right? Like they probably shouldn't have done that. Um, but I will say, like, I think there are things that they had going for them that I think were really different. And I think that main thing, truthfully, Marcus, is they had truth, like their suits are a lot cooler than Time Force, right? Like, let's just say it.
Wild Force.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, no, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the thing they had going for them, to be honest, like the most looking back, the most is, I think, I'll say two things, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The first thing is, I already kind of said it, is the Zords. The Zords are so different
Hundred
in a
percent.
way of how they connected. And we're gonna get into this later, not this episode,
Hmm.
but another episode. But they have the luck, not a burden, but like the luck of having Forever Red. Like
Yep.
like if they didn't have Forever Red, you could probably argue that this is like not the greatest, not like a terrible season in a
It's
way.
a it's a complete throwaway.
Yeah. But because of what they do have, right? That automatically, I think, feel like it gives them something.
Yeah.
Um, whether whether that's good, however you want to call it, good or not, but it
Well,
does give them, I think, something.
well, I think too is time, especially the difference between Time Force was, yes, Ranger suits 100% better. Because Time Force is like, yeah, it's just the solid and the arrow thing. All I get that. But and then let's be real, they just had the cannons. Their Zords, let's be real, Time Force Zords are very basic. A red
Hmm.
and blue mode, that's it. And whereas Wild Force, you have all those wild Zords.
Yeah.
And especially as a kid, when you can make your own because they all work together in a sense like that, that's
Hmm.
awesome. So
Oh
I
yeah.
think, in a sense of like, Time Force was, and I can't say this, but it's almost looking at it as like they had very little but did a lot. And
Yeah. No,
Wild
you're
Force
right.
had a
Yeah.
lot, because let's be real, the sabers, they each had their crystal sabers. the little crystal balls for each of the Zords, the Wild Zords themselves. Their suits were sick. And then like Cole had his freaking bow and arrow with that hawk thing, which was dope. It was like they had options galore. So whereas Time Force was limited but did a lot with their limits, Wild Force had so much but kind of did so little because I think they kind of just relied on the oh, you have this. And let's be real, looking at a giant a green gorilla and a giant red lion and all that stuff is way cool. Don't get me wrong, you know. So it's kind of like, oh well, we have this at least to look at, you know.
And
Because
dude,
watching
like,
those
let's be honest.
episodes,
Go ahead.
so I'm just saying, because then even watching those episodes, there's very little dialogue. And when I say basic story, I know this is Rangers. They don't try to go all, you know, but this was very little storytelling at all. It's just like a, ooh, monster, boom, let's
Yeah.
go fight. And it's just, here's
Yeah.
the future. And it was like the formula, like level one. And that's kind of just what they did.
I
And I
also
think
think
it's,
that
yeah,
we don't give like Merrick a lot of credit.
no. Because I think after the Zanaku storyline, he kind of fell into that category of like, he's there and for all this, and then but then once it's done, and he's starting to go away. He will
But
pop
is
up for
that
like a
and
battle.
that makes me wonder though, like at that time, they weren't as reliant on the sixth guy being it.
No,
Like
no.
Dan got a lot of play
Mm-hmm.
because I think that the story was just so good, right? Because the story was between him and the main character.
Oh, 100%.
Whereas this one, it's not between Merrick and the main character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's hard to keep a story going like how long they did, like Lost Galaxy. Like, okay, Magna Defender ends up being the brother that was supposed to be the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
Like they can do a whole spin-off based off that.
Well, then not just that, but it's like the whole drama of it. Like you said, Mike was supposed to be the Red Ranger. Oh, then he like dies in a sense. He
Mm-hmm.
falls down this like cavern, like split Earth open of a planet that literally gets turned to stone. But then he comes back. And not only does he come back, it's like, well, now he's this cool, let's be real, one of the most badass Rangers, one of the most badass suits. But it's like,
That season's wild when you think about it.
I know. But he comes back with that new power. And it's also like, he also just gets his rank back and everything. So it's like, hey, little brother, who's not even supposed to be here. It's almost like they could have did so much with that. And I think they hit on it maybe one episode and that was it, but it was like there's potential there.
But also like when we get into that season one day, like I can't wait to just talk about the one part. We can do a whole episode on it, I feel like. But like Lost Galaxy has a lot going for it in the fact that like Kendrick's died. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Homegirl straight got murked. And when do you see that in Rangers?
never. That was so weird. But we'll have to talk about that one day.
No,
Just that
we
even in itself, like that's gonna get its own episode when we talk deep about Lost Galaxy. Because that's just a trip to me. But sticking with Wild Force, like when Cole came in the beginning,
mm-hmm.
they already had their team set,
Yeah,
and it was a different in Time Force in the way that like those people, traveled, right? And they were their team, but they stole those morphers, right?
yeah,
They're already kind of the team. Then we have the back and forth between the leader, I guess you'd say at the time, right? With a female lead.
yeah.
Um, but Cole's the guy because man, this guy just speaks to animals, right? Which is funny. Like that to me is like the Doctor Doolittle at the time stuff.
Right.
I feel like that was around this era.
Yeah, no, I think it probably was. Let's see, when was Doctor? At least even the second one too. Within everybody just started talking to. Let's see, Doolittle. When was that?
Oh, that was 98. My bad. Maybe the
The first
second
one?
one too. With Eddie Murphy, yeah, it was 98.
Oh, dang. Okay, I thought it was later, but
Me too. To be honest, like that's a trip. That means like this is right after like Nutty Professor.
then also it probably too
Doctor
though.
Doolittle 2 is in 01.
Oh wait, let me look up something. Because you know what else it possibly could have been trying to do. That show on Disney Channel, Wild Thornberries. Homegirl talk to animals.
That was
That's ran,
Nickelodeon.
yeah, but that ran from '98 to 2004. So it was during
Yeah.
this time. Wild Force falls in there, so it's, ooh, this girl
Hey
talk to
man,
animals.
they're starting to put pops out of those shows from then.
I saw.
They got Otto and Regina, aka Reggie Rocket.
Dude,
I used to love Rocket Power, sidetrack, but yeah,
Rocket Power was so sick.
especially because I couldn't skate or skateboard.
Right, right.
I was
Twist,
Tito.
hey, Twister is the reason why I wanted to like make videos and stuff.
Oh, because that thing?
Because he used to always just carry on his camera, and I thought it was so sick.
Squid.
Squid.
I love that show, man. I used to watch it like that was like appointment TV. But
It was.
sticking with this,
Sorry,
it
wait,
was
wait, wait, wait,
interesting.
wait. Sorry. Remember the Tony Hawk episode?
Yeah.
That was so sick, and there light up wheels on it. Oh god,
Oh
that was
yeah.
so
It's a good
sick.
show. So it's a show
So,
we're going back to watch.
it is. All right,
I haven't
continue.
seen it in years. It'd make me want to like. I'm curious how it holds up, right? Just like anything else.
Yes.
But I'll talk about some shows I've been watching towards the end. That are, truth be told, they're not Power Rangers. But to me, the show then really revolved around him. He was cool because I think like he had such a different perspective than them, his character wise. Like his character was the most complete. I would say, besides him, the next character that I was like, I don't want to say, I don't think it's a good word to say that like I was invested in, but I feel like had more. She had like more. I guess investment in her on the show in some way was Alyssa,
Yep.
the White Ranger.
Yep. 100%.
Okay, cool. I was curious if you were
I
thinking the
felt,
same thing.
yeah, because especially those first few episodes when you're like when they're really introducing you to the characters and you're finding out about them. Taylor used to be in the Air Force. Well, guess what? Then she saw, the Animarium and the Eagles Ord, and all of a sudden, oh, that's what I'm doing now. Okay, fine. Max was like the young one, and it was just like, okay, I'm doing this now. And then him and Danny's like, I'm the big strong guy, but I have a flower shop. But I'm gonna leave that behind. They
Yeah.
all left their lives behind for this, except for her. She
Yeah.
was like that. Oh, so she's still going to college and trying to save the world. And homegirl, she wasn't. She was always ready to fight too. So I
She was
think
always the
like,
one trying to keep peace too.
yeah, and it's like it's. And I know they had the episode too where like her dad even came in and knew that she was like part of Wild Force, but was like, no, you have to quit and focus on your studies. Like, I want. Let's see more of that.
Yeah, because that was different, right?
Yeah, it's complete. Like you give, and let's be real, because she wasn't a Pink Ranger. Which, by the way, when I first watched this, I completely still thought she was a Pink Ranger. Like I get her suit was like white and it had like the
Hmm.
pink just stripes and accents. I still thought she was a Pink Ranger. It blew my mind that it wasn't until SPD when they're like, "Oh, and it's the return of the Pink Ranger." I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, she's White Ranger. I kind of blew my mind. I don't know why I never saw that, but
What do you think about? I have to bring his up because I feel like he's just so random. Is Max is going to be a Pro Bowler?
Alley Cat Strike Dog.
Yeah, but I'm like, come
Hold
on,
on.
man.
Right down the. No, dude, it's. I feel at times, and this is the thing that kind of, and annoys me with right. It's not an annoyance, but it's part of the formula. You have someone that is like part of something, right? This
Hmm.
is what they were going to be doing. Like this happened with in Power Ranger Samurai. Similar premise. You had the black guy who's the Blue Ranger, who was so Max was going to be a pro bowler in Wild Force. This guy, I think his name's Kevin. I think I didn't really watch Samurai. Homie was going to be like an Olympic diver or like a swimmer or something, you know. But he gave
Bro,
it up so he could. So it's kind of like I get that, but like sometimes it's just like the most random things that they're involved in, you
you know
know?
what? And to be honest, I'll say that is such a Power Ranger thing that they never go with the at the time popular sport. They always
Yeah.
go with what's different, and I think they do that to let their fan base know it's okay.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Because like they ain't playing ball, bro.
Hmm. But but I think they kind of did do that though, in a sense, with the next season, Ninja Storm, because look at what they were involved with there: motocross, skateboarding, like skating, and
And all of
surfing.
that was popular at the time.
It was
Very popular, actually.
so that was kind of like a
Skateboarding was huge.
hmm
Surfing was huge. Kelly Slater and all that at the
yeah,
time. Remember that, Marcus? Like
motocross.
all that stuff was really cool.
Dude,
Motocross was really
well,
big.
but like we were just talking about, rocket power,
Yeah, yeah. The whole show.
extreme sports.
Yeah.
The X Games blew up.
Oh,
Everyone talked about the X
I
Games.
couldn't
They
even do that
acted
stuff,
like
and I
they watched
watched
it,
it,
right?
bro. I was so deep into like Tony Hawk stuff,
Tony
Bam
Hawk Pro Skater.
Margera. Oh, I used to play all of them. The best one was Tony Hawk's Underground,
Oh,
uh,
I never played that.
because that and the second one because you get to sign at the time with like brands. So like I was sponsored by
Yeah,
Element.
yeah.
You know what I
But yeah,
mean?
I
Like
mean,
whenever everyone would rock DCs.
but Rangers then kind of started to go with the stuff that was popular, like post this, you know.
It
Um,
makes you wonder, did they go for that because their demographic was, and I'll just say it was white?
what do you mean? Bowling?
Like no,
Are we
some of
talking
those
about bowling
just
or
in
the actual
general, those
building
sports
itself?
we're talking about.
Possibly. Because, and I
Yeah.
will say this too, I do know this is a fact, and because another content creator of Rangers talked about that and like talked about kind of like the diversity problem with Rangers and how a lot of times, hey, they do some stuff that's kind of like borderline stereotypical, but not like in the good way. Like it's kind of like okay, that's kind of offensive. Like when they try to do like hip hop stuff or
Oh, and
urban things,
how it's only a black dude.
yeah. Or when they
Yeah.
try to do like the rapping stuff, it's like the most like worst thing ever. But
Yeah.
it was, and he did his research and he found out that in the entire time of Rangers, there has been one uh black female writer,
Mm.
and she's only the only black writer for Rangers, and it was only for like a brief stint. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like maybe that's their kind of target demographic, but also let's be real. If you're looking at like who's going to be more apt to buying the toys,
Oh, 100%. I mean, come on, bro. Let's get into Danny right now. Danny over here works at a flower shop. He's strong and he's got to be the bull. Why? I wonder why he's got to be the bull.
El
Toro.
Toro Loco,
Mm-hmm. I wonder why.
his
But
character always bugged me.
his character was different. I will give him credit in the fact that like besides Cole, he's like the only one that can talk to his animal
Hmm.
on a show that like it's Wild Force and their animals. Like that's why I say the Zords in this were really different in the fact that like they had more than just like swords that we call upon.
Yes. Hmm.
Like they really actually had something to them, you know. So I think that's what made the show kind of cool too. And I'll say I'm still in. Man, I wonder if you'll agree with this with me, but like I hated the villain,
Oh yeah, I hated him.
Master Org.
He sucked.
To me, he just looked so I- I'll call it cheap.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he looks so cheap.
And just he looked like our homeboy Stinky when he trying to read stuff, trying to act menacing. Say this line, act hard. Ranger.
Yeah, he seemed like every like cheap villain. Like
Like,
he
dude,
seemed, yeah.
the other one seemed worse than him. They were actually kidnapping dogs and stuff. Like at the
To me,
beginning, like,
he was a really terrible villain.
yeah,
Like I was just not a fan of him, man. Like
no, dude,
I don't know what it was. I just was like, man, you're not.
it ain't. I'm put like Randy Jackson. It's no for me, dog. No for me.
Yeah, like I just don't know, man. Like to me, he wasn't interesting. I didn't like him. I wasn't a fan. Like I
100%,
didn't know what we're gonna be like scared of. Like
100% agree. And what's funny though too is when you think about it, we kind of got. I haven't seen the movie, and I know you sure as hell ain't seen the movie. But that villain arc of Master Vile, or not Master Vile, Master Orc, that's the same thing they use with Madam Web. He
I haven't
was studying, well, because so Madam Web, there's a whole kind of joke line from the trailer of like, this guy, he was with my mom studying spiders in the Amazon, and then he's the villain. Well, guess what?
mm,
This guy was a doctor guy working with Cole's parents, and then
yeah.
turned around and killed him. Master Vile
I,
is just the villain from Madam Web, or Master Orc.
yeah.
Sorry,
And I almost watched that recently just because I had nothing we had nothing else to
I
watch.
think I want to watch. I'm not gonna lie, I want to do, but anyway,
Um but like I don't know. I feel like I'm not missing much.
me either, dog.
That's what most Disney movies nowadays.
That's honestly, unless Godzilla's in it, I ain't going. Godzilla X Kong, freaking amazing.
That was pretty great. I
Oh,
went
it's
and
incredible.
saw it. I don't know. I'll probably go see Civil War though. That looks interesting.
Yeah,
I'll see it. Gives me something to go watch. I like the theater. Oh, feet plug. Go to Switches Hits and Kicks. Go. I put my rant in real form, so it's short, but I have a nice rant about how uncreative Hollywood is. Yeah, if you want to get the full thing, you can go watch the entire video or listen to the podcast now. But I put
bro.
out on TikTok,
Dude,
YouTube
the,
Shorts.
the creativity of Hollywood went away with Batman Begins.
Yeah, but I don't think it's ever gotten worse than it is right now.
Yeah.
I named off I think 7 or 6 movies, and this is just in one sitting of a preview that are all either remakes or some type of rendition of an old movie.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest one, and this isn't really the podcast for, but I'll just say it. The biggest one that blew my mind, and I got genuinely mad in the theater, which I don't really because stuff normally doesn't bug me, but this did because I thought it was stupid. Like something people will know about me, I low key hate stupidity, and I don't hate a lot of things, but like real stupidity, I actually hate it. Uh, is the sequel for Twister? It's called Twisters.
And
So wait, hold on. We're not running away from one. We're running away from 2.
I thought it was more than 2, but no, I remember watching
The
that.
trailer looked like there was 2. And I think there's like one forming in another. But
Yeah.
like
No, I saw that and I remember seeing the trailer. I remember just even hearing it announced. I'm like, no one asked for that. And then
no
seeing
one
the
asked for
trailer in the
Alien.
theater during Godzilla X Kong, and I'm like, I tell my friend again, no one asked for that. Who asked for that? Did you ask
No
for
one
it?
asked for that. No one asked for The Crow. No one asked for
No, some
Beetlejuice.
people actually did ask for the Crow a while back.
Who is some people?
No, people asked for it back in the day, and like they should redo it. Like and they almost did with Momoa, but then he quit.
Yeah, probably because like this is stupid. Like we're redoing stuff because we have no creativity. We have no creativity to make new stuff. That's why AI is going to be taking everybody's jobs soon.
Mm,
Because hey, if they can do that, I mean, why can't AI? What's the
um,
difference? I would love to know the difference.
emotion.
Oh no, they
Because
got that now.
no, no, they don't. No, they do
Yes, they
not.
do. You
This
want to
is
bet?
something. This is something we are constantly discussing about at school, especially in with in my department and with us writers. The one thing that AI cannot do is to
Yet,
fully.
and
Yeah.
that's yet. Like I'm talking within the next year, dog. The betas that they've been putting out to test are scary for a lot of people of what they can do. And I'm not talking physically like moving. I'm talking how like they make for some reason the computer thinks. Interesting, I'm telling you. Look it up. Look it up. I was having this discussion with my brother-in-law who's into the ship because this is what he does. Look it up, dog.
I'm good. I'm good.
Uh-huh.
No,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, so what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I
What
don't
am I
know,
going to do? Is
man.
that going to stop me from doing all
It's
the
just
stuff I
being
have to do?
knowledge.
No, I know, but
I don't
it's
know.
just like,
Like
but
it
it's like,
can.
okay,
It can
okay,
stop you, sure, if you want it to,
but
but I mean, no one's really telling you it's going to stop you from doing whatever you plan on doing.
no, but that's where you were going with it. You were saying how it's going to replace and change all these writing things,
Oh, those Hollywood writers for sure. Yeah, 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 yeah.
but
That's why they took so long to get any deals done in Hollywood with that writer's strike. They still didn't get what they wanted.
mm-hmm,
No, they're not, and they're not going to. Like, why would they? And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you. Like, truth be told, I don't know what you're going to write. I don't know. I don't know yet. Okay, that's like a thing that you have going on that I don't know yet. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about with Hollywood itself.
yeah, but
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Because you made it
it,
about you, but it's not about you.
no, because I was saying they can't get the emotion that
That yeah.
people that actually write stuff can put into stuff. Because there are certain
Maybe.
nuance, because there are certain nuances in things when you really analyze writing, really, really look into it, that you can tell this is an AI and this was a human person.
Yeah,
When
but
you really
I,
know the
I
craft and
think
stuff,
things are gonna change though, dog. Like that's the only thing I'm telling you. That's why like they've had such a big issue with it. Like I just have a feeling things are gonna be different. I'm telling you, and I'm not saying that to be mean about anything. I just think that's what's happening. And based off all we're doing is renditions of old movies, prequels, things like that. That tells me we don't have a lot of ideas. Or production companies don't want to put money behind anything that they don't trust.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I'm noticing as far as, and I'm talking Hollywood here. I have no idea what people writing books or other things like that. I'm talking that the Hollywood part because, as you saw in your movie premiere previews, all these movies are basically prequels. Parts of other movies, like another Mad Max type thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that's all we're getting anymore.
But the Mad Max thing though, with Furiosa, that's a spin-off in the sense of expanding the universe, not in a bad like let's just retool stuff. Like, hey, there's this character that was over really good in this like story we wrote for this franchise, so now we can do that. It's not an unwanted or unnecessary sequel. It's expanding the universe of that.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. It's all right to have differing opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I'll follow your lead on this one.
All right, dude.
What are we doing next? I have no idea. You tell me.
Oh, dude. I was just stating my opinions on stuff.
I know, and I am cool with it. I don't always agree with it, and that's okay because it sounds like you don't agree with me either. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm
Hmm.
totally cool with it. I maybe you're right. I don't really agree with it, but I mean, is this the platform to keep going on about it?
No?
Yeah. So I'm waiting on you to. What are we talking about next?
You gonna talk about Wild Force still or what?
Well, yeah, you tell me. Like
Oh,
you can lead it.
okay, dude. Um, Wild Force, not that great of a season. It's
Yeah, you know, I think we spent 20 minutes not talking about Wild Force in general in this out of the 40 something minutes.
hmm
Probably right, especially because we're holding back on arguably the only thing that I think keeps it from being, like we said, a bad season.
yeah.
And because that was so like memorable, right? Like the episode we're talking about.
Forever Red, but still though, does that one episode save the entire season?
I
Because
think so. It sound like it did based off our Instagram post.
I mean, is it just that episode as a whole?
Yeah.
Because let's look at Operation Overdrive.
Okay.
Once a Ranger, always a Ranger, the two-parter.
Uh-huh.
People love those episodes. Yet that season, no one's gonna say Operation Overdrive was a good season.
Do you
I'd
think
be
without that, is it and let's say we took out Wild Force, we took out Forever Red, right? No Forever Red.
mhm.
None. If you were to stack those 2 up, would you say Overdrive is still a little bit better than Wild Force as far as the story?
Ooh, I don't.
That's a hard one because now that I'm thinking
Maybe a
about it,
little because they had more villain. They had like the like kind of war. The villains were warring against each other in that one, in a
if
sense.
you took out Zanaku and Forever Red, this season, this kind of trash.
It is like like that's what I was saying. Like it's because I don't even. Yeah, Forever Red is great, but as a whole, what did it do for this season? What did it?
Mm.
What continued out of that? Because we already got the crossover with Time Force earlier. That already happened. So this is coming after that.
What was even the next episode? Like right after.
Couldn't tell you.
Let me see.
And I know they have like the preview if you watch it on YouTube. They'll show next time on Power Rangers Wild Force, and it's kind of just, hey, we're gonna pick up. I think they kind of just pick up the story where the previous episode left off at.
Yeah, I think you're right because all it went right into was, I guess, a two-parter with Master Org's return,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, wow,
So it's like,
they really acted like they didn't even happen.
to me, it's just like, and I think this is the
Mm,
same thing
mm.
with Operation Overdrive. It should have built up to that moment of the returning ones.
That's kind of stupid.
What?
They go through Forever Red, but like,
And then just ignore it like it never happened.
yeah.
That's
And then we
that's
get this
that's what
big
I'm
return of the villain heading into the end of the season.
That's what I'm saying. It's like because the team
Mm,
up episodes always do usually happen towards the end of the season and
this
don't
is
really
kind of
like there's some stuff that like, can happen after like, ooh, we unlocked this new power or we got this or whatever. And sure, that may happen a little bit for it, but normally the team up episodes are kind of one-offs in a
mm.
sense. But this wasn't, I think, for as big of a moment as Forever Red was, what did it really do for Wild Force besides give it possibly the one of the worst seasons with one of the best episodes of Power Rangers ever.
I think the only thing like I remember, and I'm speaking as a kid, not like, as a 33-year-old
Yeah,
man,
yeah, yeah.
watching this back, looking at it back. I remember as a kid, I thought Cole was so good, like sick
Yeah,
coming out of that. I'm like, dude, you're the one that won for them. He won it for them,
yeah.
essentially, you know?
Hmm.
So like I remember that thinking that as a kid, thinking, wow, like this dude Cole is so cool. Like he wears this bandana, this
With his
headband.
ripped, with his ripped.
Yeah, no, but the only thing I didn't like is he always had a little dirt on his face for some reason. And he was just like okay with that at all times. And he was around
That
water.
that bugged me so hard. That bugged me so
Yeah.
hard. Like, why,
Yeah.
dude? Why? Why?
Yeah. Yeah. He just had like a piece of like always right here on like it was you can tell like especially now, like those are the things I notice more of like, bro, you guys like put that on just nice like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like with a brush. They didn't like throw dirt on him. It was
Let's
just like
we're gonna touch this up right here. We're gonna touch this up and let's get this. How's it look under the light?
and that was before he killed them.
Okay then.
Eddie, I'm just kidding. I had to
Okay
throw
then.
that in there. I had to throw that in there because we did say we were going to mention anything.
We never said if we were or not.
Come on,
Woo!
man. We're just messing around, like a couple college kids just messing around, It's college stuff.
College, brother, you ain't been in college for 2 years.
I'm technically still in college right now getting a master's degree. What you talking about?
Negro, please. Your little online school, brother. No,
You
I know.
you go take it. You go take it.
I'm going to.
All right, then you tell me how easy it is.
Hey man, it might be easier for me because I ain't got to balance a class of 35,000 kids and a wife and two dogs. So it might be.
Man,
It might
hey
be
dog.
easier for me.
Maybe.
It might be. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it depends
I
which
won't know
route
until
you
I
go.
start. But
I know. Well, I don't know
anyway,
if you go for your English stuff, like you're gonna be writing full on books probably, or close
oh, I
to it.
know.
Like you're gonna write a lot. You're gonna write a lot.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you already write a lot, but you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean.
Yep.
Like, I think what is they always say that is it the master thesis? Like for some people, like I assume it was an English major, but it was a guy I used to work with. Dude, he showed me his. It was a book basically.
Yes, some masters, depending on the program and the discipline, and ultimately the instructor, what you have to like. Some have to write like a end up writing like a 350 some page thing,
Yeah, yeah, like
and it's kind
and
of like
he
a
ended up having
paper.
his hard covered and bound
Yeah.
like together, and it looked really cool, to be honest with you. It
Hmm.
looks really cool, like to have,
Yeah.
because he can pull it out like that, right? He can pull it
Hmm.
out
It's
like a
like
book,
boom.
and I was like, "What?" And he showed it to me, and to be honest, I was like, "That's really cool."
Yeah.
But it was hard.
Um.
He told me how hard it was though. Like it was like he
Yeah.
goes, "It was like the most stressful thing he's ever done." He goes, "It's
That's why.
teaching these the classes easy compared to that."
And I know you. And I know you. Especially in history, in your um discipline, you've read lots of stuff that seems like it's just like quoting source after source after source, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, well, of course they're going to. They got to fill all that, you know. They
Well,
got to
yeah,
fill that.
like,
They have to fill that space. They got to meet that
dude,
requirement.
my final paper at Chico State was just because, it's a history
Yeah.
major. We only write in Chicago manual style. That's
Hoo-wee.
that's the only way we write, which is funny because when you go to a credentialing program, all they want you to write is APA. Um, right? That's all. That's the only thing they accept. Um,
Yeah.
so I would luck out sometimes because my paper had that stack at the bottom, bro. If you know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about, just like this of all my little sources, right? Because that's what I have to put, like a freaking Wikipedia page.
Mhm.
But like, and like you said, when you read those books, dude, like it's like our textbooks, like kids never notice now, but they're like, what's this little number next to it? That's the footnote. We have all the footnotes.
Mhm.
Whereas like, do you write in MLA still, or what do you guys write in?
Yep. 100%, dog. We English. Dog, we doing
Okay.
in that MLA. Guess what? We're gonna cite our stuff. We're gonna give you a reference thing for it, and then you want to go look that shit up. You go to the back on its own page, and it's gonna be right
Hey,
there.
hey, so you have to write all of those papers beforehand. And then you have the long cited works cited page or whatever, right?
Well, it's just you list your works cited, like the author, where it came from, and just this is the book. It like this is the author. This is the book. Here's the information for it. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have to do. You don't have to do footnotes. You don't have to. You know, none of that. It's
What was
it's
it
pretty
called?
nice.
Is it an annotated bibliography? Have you done that yet?
Oh, I've done plenty of those.
Yeah, those are
And
interesting.
those kind of annoying, but I see the reason why.
Yeah, me
I
too.
I can I can see it's annoying because it's like, oh, so you have to cite it like your works cited page, but write a paragraph explaining how you're going to use each source or citation that you're going to use
Yeah,
for it. Hey man, why don't you
yeah,
just read my freaking paper?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Some of these things I think they just do it just to put in there to make you like have to explain it, even though you could explain it verbally if you had to.
Yeah. But
But
now that I'm older and I see it now, like I understand why, because it's making sure that when you put this paper together, everything is precise. You know what you're talking about. You ain't going off on no tangents like we have this whole entire episode. This is on, we're coming up on an hour, and we maybe only spent as a total 15 to 20 minutes talking about Power Rangers Wild Force.
bro, we
So what
took
does
out
that tell
Merrick
y'all?
and Forever Red.
So America, what does that tell you about Power Rangers Wild Force and how we feel about it? Hmm?
Look into
Hmm?
Ricardo Medina Jr.
There ain't no civil war here when it comes to our feelings about Power Rangers Wild Force.
Now,
Tell him what else we doing, dog. I'm done
this
with
might
Wild Force because
no,
this is
me
turning into
too,
House of
because
Light.
no, but 100%, and it's okay with me. This is one of those things where like I don't know if we'll ever get him on the show because of this if he ever hears it, but that's okay.
I don't give a
Um, but uh I remember as a kid I liked him when I found out who his last name was because I was like, oh, he's Mexican.
right. I remember I found that I was like, oh, so we got another Mexican Red Ranger. All right, Rocky, you ain't alone anymore.
Well,
I
and
remember thinking,
there was two in like two Mexican dudes in the same season. Oh, three if you count the girl. She was kind of look like she
oh yeah, no,
Filipino or
Jessica
something.
Ray, Ricardo Medina. Yeah, hey, 3 out of what,
It was
six?
it
Half
was
the
like
team,
Galveston in there, dude.
right? You got the
Yeah.
in the black one. He had that fro. Oh, dude, don't even look up what he did after this. Don't look up what he
Why?
did after. He was on the TV show Passions, I think it was, that soap opera, that weird one. Homie played a pregnant man. And not like in the trans type of way, like Homie was like a legit man that got pregnant. I don't know how.
Yeah,
No hate to the
we about
community.
to go in out of the
No
lights
hate
on
to the
this because in my
community.
head,
I'm an ally, but like that was weird. Because it was like, but you're not even, it was, oh, so, and he was
I
like
almost
showing
I'm
people, I think, too. It was weird. It was weird. It was weird.
Cat Williams don't lie.
Oh no, he's still lying. He's still lying. Hey, but he ain't, he's still lying because he's still covering up himself. But he's still lying. He ain't telling all the truth.
He's not a boy, Damon.
Hey, he ain't telling all the truth, nor is he taking 100% responsibility of his actions. Because let's be real, dog. And you
Oh, you
remember
mean when that little
my
kid beat him
birthday,
down?
my birthday, that one year when we decided to go to Raw, our options were we could go see Cat Williams come to Sacramento, or we could go to Monday Night Raw. And the
Oh,
only
that was
reason
easy.
we picked Raw was because we saw how Cat Williams was doing his comedy shows, and Homie was like, let's be real. as Dog Brown Hunter would say, he was an ice head at that time. That brother was, and he was out here and he's jumping people. And we said, we don't want to go to the Cat Williams show and then end up getting jumped or something. But then we went to Raw, and that was a Raw when CM Punk was in the crowd and punched a fan right next to you. And then also that same night after Cat Williams did that show in Sac, he did go to a Target in Sacramento and beat up and got into a scuffle with some people. So I'm just saying.
I'll say this out loud right now. I'd annihilate him. But and you know how everybody,
brother, that's you saying you're gonna fight one of your students, man. He that small.
Well, no, you know what? I got a couple students that take him.
We all
just
do.
Like that little, just like that little kid.
Brother,
bro, go back and watch that video. I watched it the other day.
Dude, let's be real. We call up Mr. Perry.
All day. Got money on him too.
Colby, yeah.
But like, I just watched that video again the other day because I was laughing about it. Because to me, like, is he funny to me? Sure. Does he say some stuff that's true? But I think he's just that everyone knew that. It's like stuff everyone's been saying, but nothing's really come about it. But to me, what's funny is yeah, he does, viral, this and that. At the end of the day, he still took a swing at that kid first and got beat down.
Hey, man, I'm going to say, like Kevin Hart said, take responsibility, Cap, for your own stuff. You want to go talk about all these other people saying, well, it's because they're in the Illuminati and they and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, guess what? Did the Illuminati put the crack pipe to your mouth?
Ain't nobody told you to push that plate away.
Anyway, Power Rangers.
That was something about
you suck.
Yeah, exactly. Wild Force, and you lucky that you got Forever Red coming up because that's what we got coming up for you. It's some Forever Red. Okay, now this will be the saving grace of this season. Now, are the toys cool? Yeah, when I bring up the toys, everybody gonna be like, "Oh, okay, these are pretty sick." Like, to be honest, like they're sick. The Zords are sick, right? Like, my God, like there's no denying that. But like I think you said, Marcus, you take a couple things out of the season, maybe 2 things just out of the season, just 2. You might have like Turbo's kind of better when you think about it.
At least Turbo had the story of intergalactic war and Zordon having to go up to space, new Rangers coming in, and that whole dynamic and finding themselves okay.
And Tommy suddenly not being able to beat up the little putty patrol type people. Oh, here we go again. Hey man, you was going one-on-one with Zed. You was beating down the Gold Ranger.
And ain't your powers? And this is but tell me if I'm wrong. But it always seemed like with the Mighty Morphin ones, like Tommy's Cruz and Adam and all them, it was supposed to be every time you got new powers, they were stronger than before. I mean, that was the whole point of Zeo, right? Stronger than before. So, but shouldn't the Turbo powers, because what do you say? They're more with the power of Turbo. Okay.
Well, didn't you know that Zeo was allergic to water, or they can't be around water?
You know what? And neither can the aliens from Signs. So, you know what? Get out of here.
Hey, we're just gonna go into all the little Ranger like little things. What really grinds my gears? Oh no, it really grinds my gears.
Dude, we're gonna do that. Let's do that for an episode one of these days.
That's gonna be fun.
Like, let's see, we got Wild Force. So we're gonna finish Wild Force. We're gonna talk about Zanaku. We're gonna do Forever Red or Forever Red and Zanaku, whatever. We're doing those 2. We're gonna
when we do Zanaku and all that stuff, then we could talk about like the Zords, right? The Megazord toys, because the toys were actually really cool at the time.
No, they were.
But
then I think
like
after
that was the saving grace of the season. Now I think about it, one of them is that their toys look cool.
Yeah, but I think after we finish Wild Force, let's just do it. What grinds my gears about Power Rangers?
Dude,
let's be real.
3-part episode.
We can do multiple,
and that's okay. We could start from Mighty Morphin going down.
We season 1.
How come the black guy has to do hip hop keto? How come the, I'm just saying, how come the Asian girl has to do martial arts right away? Like you know what I mean? Like how come the bullies wear leather?
How come they look like they 40 years old?
Dude, Bulk over here look like he hanging out with Miss Appleby or whatever her damn name is. He looked
Book
like
looked
that's
like
his
he was
side
her
chick.
brother.
Oh, I thought that was his side chick on the side. That's where my mind went to. Even as a kid, I was like, they could be going out because I don't know no better. I'm 3 or 4. I don't know no better, dude. I thought old boy was getting it. And to be honest with you, I hated Skull. That's coming
Really?
out in this episode. Yeah, dude, he looked like to me, in my head of I guess life at the time, he
Yeah.
looked like a dweeb. He was the nerd like dweeb to me that get beat up. It wasn't Billy.
Yeah. You saving Billy.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
In my world, he was the dweeb. Cause honestly, that looked like people my brother thought was hecka lame and my dad thought was lame. So that rubbed off on me.
I could tell. I could tell.
And I'm thinking Bulk was over here. The kids don't listen. I think Bulk is over here smashing Miss Appleby or whatever her name is. The night. Oh man, I was gonna say something heck of mean. I'll wait till off air. This is gonna be cold.
This.
You want to let him out, man?
All right.
Let him out
Tell
so I
them
can tell
what else
you it
you
off
got,
air.
dog. Tell them about your other stuff, dog.
Oh, Switches Hits and Kicks. Put it out once a week. Put up shorts almost daily. Shorts, TikToks. I'm at Swishes Hits Kicks Pod on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Threads. We are at Rangers of the Grid on YouTube and Instagram and Threads. Instagram starting to heat back up again. We're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out a time when to do the giveaway for
Mm-hmm.
the remastered figure Red Ranger. Fun fact, my Green Ranger one got canceled along with a ton of other people's because they're out of production. They are no longer making it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so they refund. They just didn't take my money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, right? That really let me know, like, damn, Hasbro's like,
Like, nah, F y'all.
yeah, like, even though we chose to give them our money already, like, so technically they don't take it right until it's shipped. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I got that email towards the end of last week. And I know a lot of the people I saw online did too, but we're giving away this Red Ranger remastered figure. It's sick. Me and Marcus are going to figure out a way, and I think there is a way we can do it really easy, but we'll give it like a heads up on social media ahead of time on when we're going to run the giveaway for it. And by the way, that's for if you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna put all those names on a wheel and we're gonna figure it out and we'll reach out to you and ship it to you for free.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes something free.
Right. Well then,
Shoot.
so you over there doing Switch Hits and Kicks. The boys over here. I got to do this introduction for this author named Clint Smith.
Nice.
Wrote this book that you would actually really like, really interesting. Talk about because like a history book in a sense.
Oh, my bad. I thought I talked about Bloods.
A little bit. Slavery and all that, you know, and how
Oh,
that.
well, okay.
So, yeah. So you know, he's a like when you talk about people like coming into Chico State to do these events, this is like a big deal. Like he's one of the biggest deals right now.
Good shit.
Like they shelled out some money for this guy.
Oh, really?
So yes.
That's really cool.
So Clint, so Thursday, your boy, I'm doing a panel for him. for a discussion about
What do
that
you mean?
book.
You're hosting it?
So no, I'm just part of it.
That's cool.
So
Did you
his
already read the
book,
book?
yes, I read half of it.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, and it's like I don't have to know all of it, but especially because, and I'm just gonna say this. At first, I was brought like, oh, be part of the panel, but I think really what it is, it's like him, a professor, and then the dean, and then I'm one of the like planted, like we have a question from this, and then I go do. So I think that's
That's
really
sick.
what it is.
Oh, that's really cool.
But it's gonna be good. But then like, so I have that event, and then literally a half hour once that's done, then we go to the writer's voice event where he's gonna be doing some readings and stuff, and I'm giving the introduction for him for that, and then later that evening again at 7, then he has this whole thing about his book, which is the book in common that all the UCs are reading. So then he's gonna have a whole thing about that, and then literally a week after that, your boy has an interview and a photo shoot to do because they're doing an article about your boy graduating students as a recommended one from the HFA department. So
And
doing
can
that.
you explain what the HFA is for those that don't know?
It's the Humanities and Fine Arts department at Chico State. Um,
So that's
so
it, by
like
the way, a huge department.
it's history, English,
Yeah.
teaching.
It
Like,
usually has one of the biggest graduations.
yes, that's why we're on the Sunday and we're the only one on the Sunday.
Yes. So
Uh,
think of that, guys. If you're listening to this still, Marcus got picked along with, I don't even know, probably not a ton others because there's so many different departments at the school.
mhm.
But think about that. Marcus got picked out of all these people to do this. And by the way,
Out
hope
of the
Marcus is
entire
going to buy the
graduating
shirt.
class from the department,
You're going to buy the
basically,
shirt, right? The humanities shirt of your graduation with
probably.
your name on the back.
Oh,
You
sure.
should. I have one.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing. You should do it. You should look into it. It's sick. It's your name's on it. Class of what 2024
Yeah,
will be there. You should get it because then it'll show you, wow, this many people graduated with me,
yeah.
and you're the one that's getting interviewed for this.
I'm the one. I'm the
Put your
one
ones to the
named for
sky.
that when they went to the top, they were like, or not to the top, when they went to the person for the recommendation, I'm the one they chose. And then, literally, so I got to do that on the 17th. Then on the 24th, which is what would have been my grandpa's 97th birthday, your boy is also getting an award, named the English Major Student of the Year.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, did they give you this because they know that Rangers of the Grid gets like at least 3,000 views for everything nowadays, or what?
Hell
Did
yeah.
they give you this because they knew that you were really over as Marcus X and are the uncrowned
Maybe.
champion of of a local federation?
Did you say uncrowned champion?
To me, you're the uncrowned champion. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that.
yeah,
Thank
you're
you
the
for that.
uncrowned champion.
Because guess what? Hey, someone found their main star. Let's be real. Their main star found out. Oh, you're gonna put the belt on him? Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Threw the whole thing into a mess, and now it's over.
Like I said, the uncrowned champion.
Acknowledge me. No, this is cool. Anyway, no. So it's great.
Let
Like I
him
told,
cook.
I told some people, if I feel like these like celebrities that are doing like award season and they got to go from this one to this one to this one. That's me right now. Literally all the way up until like I get a break right at the end of the. I have something going on sometimes multiple things every week
Oh
until
yeah,
for the rest
and
of
the
the.
fun part is after you graduate, then you have a decision to make, like LeBron
Yeah.
James style.
Uh-huh. But I do know one thing, and I'm gonna put this out there. Your boy's been talking to his friends, all my writer friends. We've been talking about starting an online journal, publishing thing, and all that online. Like like they have what is it, Reader's Digest.
Yes.
But we're gonna start our own thing, and we're gonna have our own submissions at first, and then that's a whole thing we're gonna roll out and all that, and try to work in conjunction with the English department at Chico State. And it's this whole thing that's gonna be really cool and fun. So
Mhm.
anyway, that's what your boy's been doing and why it's been busy and why you ain't seen Rangers of the Grid for like these big intervals.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's not like we're not out there still.
No, we out here and we doing it. You know why we doing it? Because it's Rangers of the Grid. It's Richard. It's Marcus. We got it. Grocery bag.